All right, here we go. This is target B3Z7-B9R9. B3Z7-B9R9. I'm double blind to this target. I've talked to no one about it. This work is all my own, being given just that target ID with no communication with anyone, no front loading or coaching. And I've done a paper session, so I'm going to recall that and then springboard off. So my initial landing on target is land. Pretty vast, scenic land, alpine land, probably a river flowing through here, and it feels slushy cold. So this is cold. This would be snow-capped here. There'd be snow on higher elevations. This is steep land. There is some kind of structure at an overlook where people would look out and observe this. And I don't know if they're important to the target right now, but I know that they can look out and see this scenic area. It's really pretty. I don't know where it is. German words come to me like Westphalia, New Schwabenland, German names. So it could be Alpine Germany, but it looks more desolate, broader, larger. So I'm torn between like calling it Antarctic, Antarctica, or Germany, or there may be a connection between Germany and Antarctica, like something that happened in the mountains of Germany now affects this place in Antarctica. But I'm getting ahead of myself here. The land, like I said, is snow-capped. It's over here there are trees. On one look, yeah, I can see forested ridges. And then another look, I see water with glaciers, like a glacial thing. So cold, alpine, snowy, certainly at some parts of the year. An Antarctica look with a German feel is how I would describe it. Now, other things are occurring to me as I look at it about the land is that there are roads that come up here with switchbacks, so they gain in altitude by doing switchbacks. And over here, there's an entrance to a place that is hidden and discreet, that's not obvious and not readily accessible. At one point, I saw an area like almost a meadow where there were pipes and grates, access points that would be used for not as much access as ventilation, like ventilation ducts. So I'm getting underground stuff with an entrance here that is discreet and hidden. All right, so that's my land, and the land is very interesting to me. It's very beautiful. It's very rustic and rugged, cold, slushy sometimes, at least some parts of the year, snow-capped, even glacial. So what's here that I need to see? It would be I don't know if it's these guys making the observation or if it is probably that place that I need to go in and look at. So at this point, the land gestalt is what gets my attention. It's not necessarily a person target or an event target in my mind. It's more of a location, like something's happening here, something's going on here. So I got the valley, I got the glacial place. Looking at this entrance that's bounded by snow and rock, it's hard to draw the perspective. I'm not getting that right. This is either a pathway, it may be rails, I'm not sure. I'm trying to get to draw the perspective of a long tunnel complex. And this is in solid rock and goes back, at least a couple thousand feet, maybe a kilometer. And branches off. There's you would go in here and there's a branch to the left to a large area, and then it branches to the right. Now the area at the right is logistics and support, environmental control, foodstuffs, housing, infrastructure support. So this is material. And I don't know why I'm saying it that material with the, not material, material. Logistics, support, food, housing, electrical, communications. So all the stuff where you would support people that are doing something in this complex. And over here, so that branches off to the right. To the left is more scientific. This is experimental. There's stuff is designed, built, tested, functioning. Stuff's going on over here, so that's interesting. We'll take a look at that. Now for the first time I'm seeing people that have any meaning to me in terms of this target. And they're men, they're fit, they're rugged, they're inside one of these areas. So this is a place that is artificially illuminated. And these are guys that are, this would be the stuff that I called material. So there's a lot of stuff stacked up here. Boxes, crates, components, pieces, metallic things, wooden things, spools of wiring, electrical, intricate little things. It's in boxes, and they needed to bring this in. Again, the idea of a railway, like not a big railway, a small railway, like the size that you would have in a mining operation, that would be just to lug stuff in. So it's brought in boxes, and these guys are fit, and they're categorizing it. They've got lists. They've got to sign for it. They've got to know what goes where. They've got, what's the word? Not itinerary, checklist, manifest. They've got a manifest. Yeah, they've got manifests. This all has to be accounted for. And like, that goes over there, or that goes over there. We've got to check these components. So busy, 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 a lot of guys, and unloading, putting stuff here, check the manifest, make sure it's all squared away. Has a military feel, military scientific, experimental, military scientific. These aren't like tourists. This wouldn't be like an adventure tour. This is serious stuff. And this feels near past. German stuff comes, there's German name, they're speaking German. Now there's other men doing other things. Calipers. This would be I don't know if they would use these currently. I think they would probably have you could do it with your iPhone now, or a computerized thing, but this would be a time when they used a very precise caliper. They're measuring stuff. So these guys, something to do with that material, they're building something, they're assembling something, and it has very precise measurements. And the measurements with the calipers are important. So this is cutting edge scientific equipment of the time, but it's not current. I would say it's somewhat in the past. So they're assembly. I think it was assembly here. It wasn't, the plans weren't made here. It was brought here, and they have schematics. So they're looking at the schematics and why they're building it here. It's out of sight. It's a location that they have access to. It's a safe place. It might have to do with scientific discovery. I don't even know exactly why they're here, but the place is important. It's important to be here. I don't know if they do this other places, but it's important that they do it here. And it's in this facility with artificial light. It's guarded, it's controlled environment, it's very controlled environment. That's an important part, is the environmental controls. That might be what they're making, like environmental controls, like ducting, ducts, wiring, infrastructure type stuff. Now this is all on the fly. This is data that I haven't collected previously, really. I'm just on the seat of my pants here, so you're seeing it as it comes in. There's a word from my paper session that I just remembered is logarithmic. So there's math involved in this. Okay, I'm going to say everything that pops into my mind. Time travel. That may be a step too far. As you go through this place, it's a long corridor and it feels enclosed, but there's a point where I get to an area that is big and it's like not artificial light anymore. Like in the tunnels, the light is artificial, like they just strung up fluorescent lighting that is utilitarian only. But now I get to this place where the light has a more natural feel, and it's beautiful, it's big, it's almost otherworldly. It's, I can't tell if it's skylights or open or the term other dimensional. Now I hate to go there. I mean, this may be a woo-woo target. See, I don't know if this is woo-woo historical or both, but this place on a whiteboard with a pen, it has a cathedral type feel, but bigger than cathedral, like a eighth wonder of the world type. You would get here and go, oh my God, this is Valhalla, or you would be amazed. It's big and the lighting is brighter than it should be. You would think this would be underground, but it's lush, opulent, beautiful. You know, I'd have to sit down in a dark room and ramp myself more into that. You would go through a lot of, I don't want to say misery, but difficulty in traveling, difficulty in accessing this place. You would get there and go, oh wow, we're here. This is wonderful. This is why we want to be here. And I know they're going to tell me, like, draw that. I can't do it right now. It's like you get into Dorothy when she landed in Oz and is all of a sudden in color. So you've gone through this place that's black and white and dim and grim and cold and enclosed. And you get to this place and it's like Oz. You're like, the yellow brick road is here. I don't know if there's fields of flowers, but it's more lush and the lighting is beautiful and it's open and the air is good. And it would be like, this is a nice place to be. That is such a poor depiction of of what I'm trying to depict. I feel really inadequate, but you know what? I've got a whiteboard and a black pen. There was some drama here involved with this target, and more than drama, death and injury. I saw one place where it was like one of these little rail carts, and not a big one. 10 feet by 6 feet. And there are men, and I think they're deceased, and they're in green. They're all dressed the same. They're in like green uniforms, and they looked almost like Germany in World War II, but not exactly. Not the gray, not the collars with the insignia, not like that. They were more off green, but they were definitely uniforms. And these are definitely military age men. And there's a few of them heaped on a cart, like something happened to them and they need to take the body somewhere. And so they're piled on a cart, and kind of haphazardly, like not, if I would think if it was a military thing and your comrades died, you would lay them out neatly and put something over them. But these guys are just in green fatigues, and sure, they're dead, and they're lying there, and I don't know what happened to them. And there was another thing involving men, which is way more experiential to me. And I call this the flying jumble of bodies. So I see this is kind of intense. This is like if you were on a boat or in an enclosed something that's moving. It could be a train. I want to say if it was in the fuselage of an airplane, and as I'm saying this, I hear sirens. The sirens are really here. They're not part of the target. I hear an engine over here, and I hear swearing in a Germanic language. And I was saying that if you were in the fuselage of an airplane and they would be, I think the centrifugal force they be pressed together. They wouldn't be flying. This is more like if a train jumped the tracks and you were in the train and bodies were flying and arms akimbo. Or what else would they be in? They're in enclosed space and something happens and they go flying. Very traumatic, violent occurrence. I think this is site memory or something that had to do with the construction of this place, or maybe this place has something to do with war, so I'm picking up war things. I don't think this is exactly the target, but it really is a strong pull of site memory to me. A time with Yeah, dead bodies and guys getting injured and just flying every which way. And one more thing, I'm going to go way out on a limb here. And what got me here was the land, when I feel it, is really cold, freezing, snowy. And there was something over here that's searing hot, molten hot. Especially around the edges. So as I get into this more, it has to do with this tunnel. And it's a machine thing because it's loud. It's making rumbling noises, squealing noises, thumping, pounding, whum, whum, whum noises, engine noises, all kinds of noises, from electrical to mechanical to thumping to screeching to sizzling, tearing. It's all kinds of jumble of noises, and it's a mechanical thing. And it's got gears and parts, and there's a carriage, and it's real hot around the edges, hot enough to like melt rock. And it is melting rock, and this is the thing that's making the tunnel. And the connection to the German sounds is, this was built in the World War II era, and it made tunnels in Germany, Austria, where they had bases to keep the Allies from bombing them and to do secret stuff. And the cover story was that they all had slave labor, that they had people with chisels, like 1,000 of them, digging a kilometer-long tunnel with a pickaxe. That's not true. They had this machine, and this machine could just bore right in. And it was really advanced technology for the time. So advanced that when the war was over, the Allies came in, and this was one of the prizes. The Soviets got the plan, but the US got the machine, and they took it apart. And maybe that's what those guys were doing with the boxes. They were boxing it up. The wrong sound is playing in my ear. Whoa, no, whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so maybe that's what they were boxing up. So they took this apart. And the US is part of paperclip. That was part of paperclip. It wasn't just rocketry. It was underground it was underground tunneling technology. Has anybody ever, I have to ask Harry Cooper or somebody, is that part of the lore of World War II, or am I just making this up on the spot? I've never heard this. But tunnel boring was part of paperclip, and this was a machine that the Germans made, and they took it apart. The Russians got plans, but the US got the machine. And this was shipped to New Schwabenland. And this might be the connection to Antarctica, because they took these down there and they were making tunnels in Antarctica. And it may have to do with a base down there. That's a good story. I might just be making the whole thing up. But is there anything else? Underground engineering in a cold place, in a hidden bunker type thing. I'm pretty comfortable with that. Underground bunker technology, hidden place, probably a World War II connection brought into the future. I don't know how current some of this is. There you go, B3Z7, B9R9. Target's due tomorrow, so like I was right on it, and the wrong music started playing like this. Yeah, I don't want to say what song. I had my theta going, and I was like, okay. All right, that's it.